So finally, we're going to take the different transformations we learned and we're going to combine them all at once. So, for example, you might look at the function f of x equals negative absolute value of x minus 5 plus 1. And so this combines a whole bunch of the different transformations that we went through. This will be a vertical shift. It'll move the graph up 1. This will be a horizontal shift, which moves the graph to the right by 5. And this negative sign means that the graph should open downwards instead of upwards. So how do we combine those things? Well, it turns out it doesn't matter the order in which we combine them. You can do the flipping first, or the horizontal translation first, or the vertical translation first. It doesn't matter. So what I'd suggest doing is first do your horizontal and vertical shifts, and then when you actually draw your graph, you can add in the flip, or in another case you might have to add in, say, making it wider or thinner depending on a number that's in front of here. Okay, so let's graph f of x. First, we take the basic graph of absolute value of x, and now I'm going to apply the horizontal and vertical shifts. So we go to the right by 5 and up by 1. That leaves us with this graph, and see, I've just written what that is. Notice there's no minus sign because I haven't done the flipping yet. And now, the very last thing is we add the flip on, and so we come up here, and this is the graph of f. It looks a lot like this one over here, except it's opening downwards instead of upwards. Now, for another example, here's g of x equals 3 square root of x plus 4. So this 3 will change the shape of the graph a little bit. In the case of a square root, it's a little different than the other ones I described to you. Here, I'm just graphed 3 square root of x, and this dotted line down here is just square root of x. And we see 3 square root of x must be bigger, and so it opens a little faster, and then comes out, and the shape at the end is sort of the same. And so, unless they're graphed on top of each other like this, it's hard to see the difference. And I won't grade you harshly if you don't, make the opening really extreme or something based on a number like this. But just so you get a sense of what it looks like relative to the old graph, this is what it looks like. Okay, so now we're going to take 3 square root of x, and we're going to shift it to the left by 4. That's what this plus 4 does inside. So now we come down to this graph, and this is the actual graph of g. I've just taken the one from up here, and I moved it to the left by 4 units. And now, I chose to think about it in that order by doing the 3 first, by multiplying by 3 first, and then shifting. But I could have done it the other way. I could have shifted square root of x over to here, and then drawn them both next to each other here, with 3 square root of x having the wider opening. And that would be just as good.